Hello and welcome to the Architectural Model Shop. I'm Corey Breininger. We just cut this in the last video on the bandsaw, and now I'm going to demonstrate how we can sand this down nice and smooth on the belt sander. We're also going to use the spindle sander, which is behind me, on the other piece that I cut that had the sort of the S curve on it. There's a couple of things that we want to talk about first before I turn this thing on. Students use this tool a lot, and they can do angled grinding by changing the angle of this platen right here. So you need to take a square that we have in one of the cabinets over here, and if you want a nice square edge, you need to bring it up here, and you need to make sure that this is 90 degrees. If it isn't, you can loosen it here, and you can adjust it and get this at 90 degrees. The other thing that I want you to be aware of when I turn this on is that this wheel right here is supposed to hold a sanding disc. I don't like the sanding disc because the actual speed on the outside up here is much faster than the speed toward the center. They're both turning at the same RPM, but the radius is shorter here, meaning the actual distance around is less than up here. So in actual velocity, this is going faster. You get differential sanding rates and you won't get a nice flat, even cut. So we don't use it, but I want you to be aware that thing is spinning. So be aware of that. So those are two things about it that we have to know in order to get started with this particular tool. I've got this nicely squared up, so I don't need that now. So the other thing we want to do with this particular tool, when you're sanding, you want to have an N95 mask. This one is from Home Depot, and it has a nice elastic band on it. I was looking for that. I had a previous one, which was just kind of a yellow plastic band, and the three of them that I had, after about putting it on and off about 4 times, the band broke. So I said, enough of that, and I went back and I got these. It's more of an elastic strap, almost like a waistband type. So, and it's an N95. Make sure it's N95, okay? They're not too expensive. We have them here, so we have a box of them. You'll be able to use one until we run out. The other thing about it is that once you get your N95, put your initials on it. No one else is going to want to breathe through that thing other than you, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this on. Just like this. It's a nice fit. I've already shaped it. I put the safety glasses on. And we're almost ready to go. I'm going to step off screen for a second. I have to turn on the dust collector. Okay, now, we are using a belt that is an 80 grit. It's very aggressive. It will take a lot of material really fast. So you don't want to apply a lot of pressure of the wood to the belt itself. And it'll take just a little bit of practice on your part when you first try it to figure out just how much pressure to apply. But it'll only be about a minute or so. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the tool on. I have the blast gate open to suck out all of the dust that it creates. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set it on here. I'm going to lightly apply pressure. So there, you can see where the line is right now. And you can see where I touched it to the belt sander right there. And there's the bandsaw cut. There's the belt sander right there. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to smooth this out to the line. Very light pressure. almost there. And I think I've got it. As you can see, you get this beautiful smooth curve. That was very light pressure. I was hardly pushing it into the belt sander at all. For the type of models that you're going to be making, this 80 grit belt will give you a clean enough surface for your models. You don't need a 120 or a 180 or a 240 grit or anything like that. And we need to take the material down at a fast enough pace because generally there's 4 or 5 students in the shop. They all need to get on the belt sander, so the quicker we can do this, the better off we are. So that's how we do the convex curve